Hey, so I haven't made a video in a while, um, but I've been meaning to, and this felt like as good a reason as any. I don't know if you're new to my channel or if you know what I'm talking about. If you saw the title and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give you a little bit of background. There's this YouTuber. Her name's Colleen Ballinger, and she has this character Miranda Sings that she's known for. Fan base made largely of children, I guess, and I've been following her since I was a kid, so I guess that makes sense. But I always related to her. I always thought that we had a similar sense of humor, so you can imagine that I took it a little personally when she was accused of a pretty serious crime. I was like, okay, well, how do I make sense of this? I thought that I knew her. I thought that she would like vlog every day of her life, and I didn't watch it, but I would see it in my subscriptions feed, and occasionally I would watch one of the videos or at least skim through it. Um, but I felt like I had some idea of the kind of person that she was. But this leads to a deeper issue of how well do we really know anybody? So what I want to talk about in this video is taking accountability, holding people accountable, how to set boundaries, and the toxicity of cancel culture and how it really doesn't, it's not doing what people seem to think it's doing. So those are the topics I want to address. I'm going to try to get to everything pretty quickly because I don't want this to be longer than it needs to be. I don't want to waste your time, especially if you're new to my channel. I have no idea if this video is going to reach more people than my usual videos because I've never really tried to address a trending topic before. So, you know, I'm doing this video either way because I have thoughts to share and that's always been what my channel was for. So basically, um, she was accused of being inappropriate with children in group chats. And from what I've seen, it doesn't really look like she did anything that terrible. Um, but I wasn't there, and I really don't know her. That's what I realized is that I don't know her. And all I know is that I know the same thing that I know about her, about anybody, is that humans are imperfect, humans are fickle. And I personally think of humans as just like vessels of energy that can be manipulated. And if you're not in control of that, if you're just kind of walking around opening yourself up, then you're going to be manipulated. And all of a sudden, you're going to find yourself walking left when if you were in control and thinking clearly, you might have been going right. And, you think of people that way and you begin to stop taking things personally and realize that people are either in control or they're not. And, we all have our ups and downs. No one is stuck one way forever. And that's what people seem to fail to realize. Now, we have a criminal justice system. Everywhere in the world, there's a different, in the US, I'm referring to, but everywhere has a justice system of like, these are the rules, these are the consequences if you break them, and if you disagree, we'll dispute it and we'll figure something out. It's not that, somebody does something and then you decide on your own how to react. Jamie wants to burn her at the stake, and I don't know, Millie wants to send her a cookie. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, my point is that people are going to have different ideas of how someone should be held accountable, and that's why I want to talk about what it actually means to hold someone accountable. The trick is to stop taking things personally. If you start thinking of people that way, not taking things personally from someone because you don't really know what was going on in their head when they said that, but you know that it came off to you as an attack, and you don't have to take that from anyone. So sometimes you have to give somebody an ultimatum. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody is continuously disrespecting you, and you speak out and you say, please stop doing this, or, whatever it is. And instead of respecting you and saying, okay, I'll stop, or I can't stop because I have this, and this reason, can we come to a compromise? Instead, that person just shoots you down and makes you feel like you can't express how you feel to them. And then what do you do? What if it's someone that you care about, whether it be a YouTuber or a friend or a family member, someone that you want to have some type of connection to that's positive, and all of a sudden they're doing something that to you feels like an attack, and you don't know how to respond. You're afraid that, you'll damage the relationship. And the trick is to just say, that no matter who they are, no matter what the situation is, You have to see yourself as a full individual with a purpose. You have to have an idea of who you are, and where, like, what your values are. You have to have a developed personality to know, like, this is what I value, this is what I stand up for, and it's unwavering. It doesn't matter if, if my aunt said it. It doesn't matter if my kid said it. It doesn't matter if my favorite YouTuber said it. What matters is that I have my values, and they come from an authentic place. I didn't just adopt someone else's point of view because they seemed to know what they were talking about. I actually developed views of my own, and if somebody actually convinces me otherwise through logic that's unemotional, that's one thing. You should always be open to learning new things. But to just be constantly willing to do what's easier in order to avoid conflict is not going to leave you in a good position. You're basically not even a fully developed person. You're just kind of like a rag doll being tossed around to different people. And you don't want to be that way. You don't want to feel that way. Every time you let someone disrespect you or mistreat you, for whatever reason, whether it be to avoid conflict or just whatever it is, you like yourself a little bit less, and you feel a little bit worse. So you have to hold people accountable when they do something that they shouldn't be doing. And maybe you have to give that person an ultimatum and say, you're going to respect me, or we're not going to have a relationship until you respect me. And I'm open to that. If you can prove to me that you actually care about me and that you're willing to respect my boundaries and work within them, if you can prove to me that you're not just going to mistreat me, then we can have a relationship. But if I feel like being close to you is disrespectful to me, then that's that. I'm not going to be close to you anymore. It's not personal, has nothing to do with you. It's just me having boundaries, and you happened to cross them. I don't know why you chose to do that. Your business, not mine. I'm not going to get involved and try and psychoanalyze you. But the fact is, I'm not going to allow myself to be mistreated. That's how you have to handle it. Direct, simple, to the point. Don't indulge in any drama. But that's what people are doing. They're kind of distracting themselves from their own inner work, because we like to think of ourselves as victims. I mean, it's easier to be a victim, to say that, you know, that you don't have to really do any work because everyone else is making it so hard for you. And whenever somebody gives you advice, you say, oh, well, that's easier said than done. And it's like you've already given up before you even try. And then where do you expect to end up? You're not going to get anywhere because you're not even going to start. You just want to be a victim. You want to be stuck because then you get to blame everyone else for your problems. And that's what I really want to talk about. And I want this video to be brief, so we're in the latter half of it already. But you know, I want to make it clear that it's not okay to harass people. It's not okay to feel self-righteous enough to start judging and attacking and sending death threats or horrible hateful messages to people you literally don't know at all. And just because people are sharing receipts and drama and stuff. Let me give you an example. Let's say someone takes screenshots of a conversation you had and posts it online. That is subject to interpretation. The person who had the conversation may have been interpreting it in a completely different way at the time of that conversation, but then they look back on it and they're like, actually, there were also a couple other ways to interpret it. And now I see an opportunity to make the person who was talking to me look really bad, and I'll get a ton of attention for that. And again, with the Colleen situation, I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't know enough about it, and I'm not going to claim to. But it made me think about the fact that that is theoretically possible, that it can happen, regardless of whether or not this is the actual situation at hand. So the fact that that's possible should scare you. That someone can take a conversation that you had, the full screenshots of the conversation, post it online, and just provide a context that makes it look worse than it was. And then you don't have any way to disprove it because they've already posted the whole conversation. So it's not like you can go, fill in the gaps with other screenshots and say that, oh, well, here's what was actually said, because that is what was actually said, but just they're lying about the context. Now they've created a situation where it's your word against theirs, and there's no way for you to prove that you're not what they want people to think you are. That is a really tough situation to be in. And, you never really know for sure if that's the situation someone's in. You could do all these deep dives, you could try and figure it out, and you could still not be certain who to side with. Is Colleen telling the truth, or are the people accusing her of being a groomer telling the truth? Or are they both telling the truth and it's just, you know, somehow being confusing? I mean, there's so many possibilities. And, when you try to get so involved in a situation that doesn't really involve you, you're crossing boundaries and you have to think about where your intentions are. We have a justice system for things like this. You're not supposed to be making up your own rules and saying, oh, well, I decide that this person's going to have this punishment because I think this is horrible what they did and I'm going to attack them. That is what it means to not take something seriously. Accusing someone of being a groomer or a child molester or a predator in any capacity, that is a serious accusation because it's a crime to abuse children. It's a crime to, you know, coerce unwanted interactions with children and get them to do things that they might not have really wanted to do if it hadn't been for the fact that you were the adult and you had the power. So that is a very serious thing to accuse someone of. And that is something that you should be taking seriously, taking them to court, really trying to handle it in a way that feels professional. But doing it online just makes it look like you're looking for attention. And, you know, um, it just, it's so toxic because everyone involved gets really obsessive, whether you're defending the person or attacking the person. Nobody deserves to be attacked. That's why I have the word defending in the title of the video, because you have to defend people who are being attacked, even if you think they deserve it, because it's not up to you to decide if they deserve it or not, especially when you really don't know anything about the situation. If you just walk up to a situation on the street and you see someone beating someone up, you go in there and you break it up, unless you think that you'll get killed in the process. But if you think you're capable of it, you try to stop it because you have to stand up for people. Like I said, you have to have values and morals, and you can't just be getting passed around and just doing whatever's easier. Yeah, it's easier to turn your back on someone getting beat up, but you know, you wouldn't see someone getting beat up and say, I wonder if I would agree with the reason for this person getting beat up. You would just stop it and then worry about it later because no one deserves to be attacked. Whether it's physical or anything, attacking someone is not okay. And, the fact that there are so many young adults and teenagers online who are just so aggressively attacking someone just says so much about um, how lost we are and how we really don't want to look inward and do the work on ourselves. But it's inevitable. You're excuse me. Um, I burp a lot for anyone who's new. Um, it's inevitable. You have to do it eventually. You have to take care of yourself. You have to work on yourself. And if you are trying to avoid it, that's a problem. So hopefully this video means something to you. Um, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And once again, I'm not taking sides. You don't have to go in the comments and start harassing me. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to have a discussion, but this is not a matter of taking sides. I just wanted to share my thoughts because I've been learning some lessons lately about, boundaries and stuff like that and how to not take it personally and to be able to just focus on your own path and where you're going and be confident and hopeful and just feel like you're battling any hopeless or dark thoughts that make their way into your head. Just say, no, get out of there. There's no room for that. But people don't do that. People like to indulge those dark thoughts and spiral into a toxic system of like an echo chamber. And that felt like what I was looking at. So it just seemed really relevant. And if so many people are doing this, um, all the news outlets, all the channels, all the drama, gossip channels just talking about this and going nuts. None of these people were involved in the situation, but they just love a chance to report on it and get that in, all the views and the money and and they're not really helping anyone. They're not really teaching anyone anything. I'm sharing something that I learned in my personal life because I believe that when we go through things and we learn lessons, that we're supposed to give that out to others and help other people learn because there's always going to be someone who just needed to hear that. And they're not spending their time doing that. So clearly their motives are just tainted. And I can't judge someone for trying to get money, especially in this economy. If you're doing something to get money and it's working, go right ahead, more power to you. But please don't be taking advantage of people and don't hurt people. Don't promote hatred. That's really all I can say. I don't understand why people get mad and say, oh, it's a cash grab. I'm sorry, but are they hurting anyone? Are they promoting hatred? Okay, then leave it alone. Because, it's not worth your time or energy. It's like you just have to find a reason to say something negative or be negative. So just check yourself. The purpose of this video is to make you look inward and say, am I actually handling this in a professional, mature way? Or am I using it as a distraction? Am I being immature? Am I being judgmental and not actually productive? So, I hope this didn't come off as condescending. It's not meant to. It's just me sharing my thoughts and explaining what I'm seeing and what it looks like to me. So, I was hoping this would be 10 minutes, but 16 minutes isn't that bad. I mean, the videos that I've seen talking about this kind of stuff are like really, really long. And since, there's one more thing I wanted to mention real quick. There was this singer, Melanie Martinez. You might have heard of her. She's pretty popular. But she's still like an alternative artist. So there's a lot of people who haven't heard of her. She's not like mainstream. But she was accused of raping her best friend a couple years ago. And I watched everyone go from making videos, in depth analyzing, trying to make Melanie out to be this terrible predator of a person. And the same channels that were making these videos saying, oh my God, more evidence is coming out. Look how bad this is making her look. This is terrible. As soon as it turned around and it started to look like the accuser was the one lying, suddenly everyone was making videos about her. So the same exact energy, the same exact situation of just, attacking someone and doing this deep dive into their life and picking apart all this stuff to make them look bad. And now you've just switched who you're doing it about. So just think about what that means. And, if that doesn't concern you, if that doesn't seem like worrying that people are actually able to make the exact same video about, people who really were on opposing sides, one saying, you did this to me, and the other one saying, no, I didn't. And you're making these same exact kinds of videos with the same attacking type of energy about both of them at different times, based on when it's convenient, based on what the majority is thinking. Ask yourself what is compelling you to do that, because this has been going on. What I'm referring to happened in 2017. This has been going on for years. So it hasn't changed. If anything, it's gotten worse. And it really is just, it's starting to worry me. So I had to make a video about it. Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. I really don't have an outro, but I am going to be making more videos like this because there's so many topics that I want to talk about, and there's so many things that I wanted to say when I imagined myself making this video that I didn't end up saying, and I almost left out the Melanie Martinez thing. So, there's a lot, and I'm going to be doing different videos on different topics. So, I'm excited. Hopefully, even if nobody's watching, I'll still have a good time doing this because I miss it. I do miss being on YouTube. Like I said, I don't have an outro, so I guess just have enjoy the rest of your day or night and leave a comment and let me know what you thought, or, ask a question, or try to have a discussion with me. I love discussing things with people. And thank you for watching.